Brothers and sisters, we have a question we have to answer today. And the question we have to look at is this. Jesus asked, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter pipes up and says, "You are the Christ." You are the Christ. He's right. But then those words. And Jesus told them not to tell anyone about him. Why? Why? He's got it right. Why not go tell the world? That's the question we have to answer today. So let's get started. 2 weeks ago, remember, the Pharisees were trying to trick Jesus all about washing hands. Okay, washing hands. The one thing we do before we eat, we wash our hands, right? Well, you know what the Pharisees said? That if you didn't wash your hands before you ate, you were a sinner. Now, there are times in life when it wasn't possible. Okay, for instance, when I was out in the field helping my dad and now my brother, everyone, there's no spigot. There's no washcloth. So what do, everyone? You simply eat. Remember what the Pharisees would have said? Father Schuster, you're a sinner. And Jesus said this, enough. Enough. It isn't that which comes from without defiles, it's that which comes from within. Okay? It's still wise to wash our hands before we eat, but if we don't, it doesn't make us a sinner. Okay? Jesus is teaching authority. Last week, healing authority. Okay, Jesus heals. Remember, there's a man who's deaf, who has a speech impediment, and Jesus takes him off to his side. What does he do? He touches everyone. His ear spits, touches the tip of his tongue, and all of a sudden, what can he do? He can hear and he can speak. Those of you who are not here last week, imagine what it would be like for you to hear the first time. In other words, what I am saying to you, we might understand, but to someone who's never been able to hear before, these would be foreign words. Foreign. If I yelled, first thing you heard, I yelled at someone, we would know something isn't right there. To somebody, though, who's never heard before, that'd be normal. Siren. You're driving. All of a sudden, you hear a siren beside you. What would you do? Probably keep driving. Hey, how would you know any better? Never heard it before. Okay? But Jesus heals. His healing authority. So today, the question Jesus asks is a good one. Who am I? Who do people say I am? Am I some great teacher? Am I some great healer? What's out there? Okay? So let's look at who they say. Who do they respond? The disciples say, well, some people think you're John the Baptist. Others think you're Elijah. Still others, one of the prophets. The only problem with this is, everyone, they're all dead. They're dead. So that should tell you something about the age of the time. Some people did believe that in reincarnation, that when we die, we come back as someone else. Now, we as Catholics do not believe that. You get one chance. One chance at this. It's not like you go up there and Jesus says you weren't good enough. Give me another chance. Let me go back as somebody else. One shot at it. And that's it. Okay? But people back then, if they thought John the Baptist, one of the prophets, Elijah, all dead, hey, they must have believed that we could come back. Okay? The second thing. One of the prophets, a prophet. Elijah, a prophet. John the Baptist, a prophet. So now you have your answer. Who do people think he is? Someone come back to the dead who's a prophet. A great prophet. Come back from the dead. So Jesus asks, well, who do you think I am? Okay? To understand that question, it's interesting where Jesus takes his disciples. He actually takes them to northern Galilee, Caesarea Philippi. Actually, everyone, he took them, everyone, to the head of the Jordan River. Interesting in this homily, because when we think about the Jordan River, who baptized in the Jordan River? It was John the Baptist. One of those that they thought that Jesus was. John the Baptist come back from the dead. And when he gets to where he wants to teach them, everyone, you'll actually notice in the cliff, there are niches there of gods and goddesses. Okay, all kinds of them. So Jesus asked the question, Who do you think I am? Am I one of those? Am I a god? Am I a goddess? And Peter pipes up, and what does he say? Now remember, Peter, he can mumble. He's gotten it wrong many times. Okay, we know he denies Jesus 3 times. We know that. You know, when he goes up on the Transfiguration Mountain, he wants to stay there because Jesus told him, if we go down, we'll suffer. He says, let's build tents here, let's stay here. Not a very good answer. After his response today, what's he going to do? He's going to take Jesus aside and rebuke him. Not a good idea to take God aside, by the way, and rebuke him, is it? Not good. But he says this, you are the Christ. And Jesus doesn't say, Peter, you're wrong. You are the Christ. Okay? But why doesn't Jesus say, go out and tell the world? People, here's where it gets tricky. Last night, our confirmation candidates, many of them spent the night outside, everyone, in boxes, cardboard boxes, homeless for the night. Okay? And if you were there last night and you were to ask, well, who is the Christ to you? You know what they would say? Someone who can come and give me comfort, shelter, food. I might go around here and I might say, who do you think the Christ is? Well, I'm having a tough time in life. He's the shepherd who will help carry me. Okay, we get all of these answers. Okay, that's the trick here, everyone. Who do you say that I am? You are the Christ. And he tells them not to say anything because here's the answer. Peter and the disciples will get it wrong. They will get it wrong. You see, they would go forth and say this. Jesus is a Messiah who came to restore Israelite to its power. Let's banish, destroy the Romans, and let's get Israel back on its feet. That's what they wanted. And yet, what does Jesus say? Did you hear the words of the first reading today? This is what you heard. Some astonishing words, by the way. I gave my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who plucked my beard, my face I did not shield from buffets and spitting. Nowhere in there does it say Jesus came to take away homelessness, poverty, to feed everyone. Nope. Nowhere in here does it say Jesus came to restore Israelite to its power. Nope. This is what it says. The Christ came to suffer, to die, and to rise. Like it or not, that's who the Christ is. Homelessness, poverty, all of that, he says, you take care of that. To get a kingdom right, you take care of that. What I'll do is what I can as God. I'll come, conquer suffering, conquer death, and give you the hope of resurrection. Does that disappoint you? Maybe sometimes it does. Maybe sometimes we wish Jesus was more. But that's who the Christ is. And what does he say? Deny yourselves. Take up your cross and follow me. You'll have suffering. Take your cross up and follow me. By the way, he doesn't say try to figure it out. He doesn't. It's nowhere in there. Try to answer the questions. It's not there. Deny, take up, and follow. That's what we're called to do as disciples of Jesus. Somebody asks you, who is the Christ? He's a suffering Messiah. That's the answer. So let's take that with us, everyone, as we once again celebrate our faith in Jesus Christ.